I'm going to tell you why I'm excited about GGG's discussion on the upcoming patch 0.1.1. And it's not just about the patch. So if you're watching this after the patch, it's about much more. It's about the direction, the style, and the character of GGG and why this gives me confidence in the game. But also let's go through some changes, some stuff I really liked. So firstly, the down-to-earth nature of GGG. Sitting down, that came across as authentic, honest. I just really liked it. And I think, it's a company and a game I'd just like to invest my time in. There was a lack of pride. There was an openness to discuss things. There was a pragmatism there, as well as just an honesty. And yeah, well done, GGG. In terms of direction of the game, this hit the spot for me. I love the fact that GGG doesn't want to nerf everything into the ground. They even commented on, a question was, what about people who are able to create builds that one-shot pinnacle bosses? And GGG didn't say, oh, we're going to nerf those, get rid of those. They said, you shouldn't be able to do that the first time. And they did say maybe on some kind of super build. So as long as it's got enough difficulty in achieving those builds, GGG wants to leave those aspirational content type builds and uniques, etc. in the game, which I love. That was there in Path of Exile 1. You don't want it to be achievable like that, of course, but GGG won't do that. I thought it was great. They're not going to nerf everything. They're going to make sure you've got that long-term goal content. I mean, it is grinding gear games after all. They do want you to grind, but I was really happy with that. So overall, I trust GGG. They're taking the game in the right direction for me, and I'm going to invest even more time, if it was possible, in Path of Exile 2. Other changes I loved. More bosses in maps. Huge. Just the day before, I was asking my Twitch chat, do you know where the precursors are with bosses? Are there such things? And then GGG announces the next day, more bosses, precursors to put bosses everywhere. Love it. It helps with the fights in general and drops, but it helps with map sustain or waystone sustain, since the big bosses drop a couple or a few maps at the right tier 15 for me every time you beat them. Overriding runes, huge. This helps in many ways. It helps you to get the right resists while you're leveling in the acts, and perhaps later on as well. But for me, it's about preserving good gear. So you can have gear, runes in it, and like sometimes you just want this perfect item, and then it's got the wrong rune, and you're like, why did someone put that in there? And you don't want to buy it, or you yourself had to put a resist in, and you're nervous to put it in because it might ruin it for later. It just opens it up. Good items are quite scarce. It's hard to craft. You need that. That's step one of the crafting journey. So great work. More portals for pinnacle bosses. Awesome. I think it actually should go like this. I'm hoping one day it'll be like the hardest content will have 6 portals. They can work out what's a bit easier. You can have 5 and 4 and 3 for the pinnacle bosses. It's okay, as I said, to have 1 portal deaths on maps, but get rid of the on-death explosions, which they didn't mention. I was a bit sad about that. But yeah, great work on the pinnacle bosses. More omens. Thank goodness. Crafting is not really there in the game at all, if you saw my latest video, and more omens would only help. They're ridiculously expensive and rare right now, and you need a bunch of them to craft. Happy with that, very happy. Buffing uniques. Awesome. A lot of uniques are really for leveling besides the really good ones, and you may as well make them better for leveling. Let's see how that goes. Sounds good. Making Expedition more exciting. That's great. Breach is good. Ritual can be good, and Expedition just feels like a walk in the park right now. They addressed the hacking. At least we understand. I was scared to put overlays on. It's not about that at all. It was about an admin account on their side that someone could hack into. They had the ability to change passwords, etc. So if they're going to plug that gap, at least that kind of hacking is not on the table anymore, and people don't need to be nervous about losing their currency or their hard-earned gear. Yeah, so that's my summary. Overall, good changes, great direction, good game company, super impressed. Thank you, GGG, and the streamers who hosted. Cheers.